Here we are. We are in Yakov Brachot 50b, and last week we were discussing what we shouldn't do with bread. Very quickly, we said, since you weren't here, 4 things they said concerning the bread. 1 was we don't place raw meat on the bread. We also don't pass a full cup of bread. We don't throw the bread, and we don't support a plate with bread. All these things were demeaning to bread. Welcome back to construction. Okay, if you pass thank you. If you would pass a full cup of something over bread, the odds are something could spill and it would ruin the bread. So it was demeaning to the bread.
What was it?
If I pass a cup of something
and move it over the plate,
I move it over bread, I'm passing over bread, it could spill. So that would ruin the bread.
Yeah.
And if I throw bread, it's showing a disrespect to the bread. By the way, somewhere, I forget where it says it, but it also says that if you throw bread, it'll make you poor, because bread is an important thing for sustenance, and I'm showing a tremendous disrespect for it. So I forget where it says it, but it says that if you throw bread, that is a sign that you're going to be poor. Okay. They only wait for Tuesdays. Okay. So Ameimar Mazutra for Rav Ashi Karchu. I'm sorry, that's not where we are. So now you have to turn the page. You guys turn the page, and it says the next part is right. So it says like this. Second line. Ein zorken eda ochlin. We do not throw food. Hahu pat detanya. Marzut replied, that was taught with regard to bread, but other foods may be thrown. Oh, really? Vatanya, but Rav Ashi persisted. But it was taught in another brayta, kashem she'ein zorken eda pot. You guys have it? Right there. Just as we don't throw bread, kach ein zorken et ha'ochlin. So too, we should not throw other foods. We don't throw any. It's not nice to throw foods. So Mazutra retorted, but we learned another brayta. Alpha pisha in zorken edapat. Even though we don't throw bread, aval zorken eda ochlim, we may nevertheless throw other types of food. So according to your understanding, that the brayta prohibits the throwing of foods pertaining all foods. We have contradictory braytot. We don't like to have contradictory braytot, okay? That's not a nice thing to do. So the Gemara says, really, lo kasha, there's no contradiction. The first one where it says that you shouldn't throw anything, this is something that's going to make it repulsive. If I throw it, it will make it repulsive. So what's that referring to? If it's like if it's a tomato and I throw a tomato and if it falls or it becomes soft by me grabbing it and throwing it, as compared to an apple, which is not going to become soft when I pick it up and throw it to you. Okay? And so that would be when I shouldn't throw because it becomes repulsive. And when that's when I shouldn't throw, right? And when I can't throw it, it's high demidi. That's when something that is not considered repulsive when I throw. Like I said, those fruits or whatever I'm going to have with that. Okay, so then we had a discussion here. Where was it? I had this. Right. So the Eitz Yosef says, when it says for something that is becomes disgusting, he says, the pot ein zorken. Bread you don't throw. Afilu lo mamis, even if it doesn't become disgusting, you just don't throw it because it's not proper pagon. And the example would be where it would not become disgusting would kizurko b'makom naki, if I was throwing it into a clean place. This becomes something for a Shabbos table. I have Baruch Hashem children, so what happens? I cut the matzah, I cut the challah. And so I shouldn't say here and throw it to my oldest and to my other one. I shouldn't throw it like the kings throwing things. I shouldn't do that. Rather, I should put it into a plate or a basket, and then you put in the basket, and then you pass it around. That's what you do. Because even though it's not going to become disgusting, it still shouldn't throw bread. So even if I'm throwing it in a clean place, as it were, like I said, my daughter's plate or whatever, it's not nice. So rather, what you do is, and which I think most people do this, is they cut it, put it in a basket, or they put it in a plate, and they pass it. And by the way, when you do that, it shows a tremendous amount of respect for the other person also, and it's showing respect for the bread. It shows respect for everybody all around, okay? So, but I certainly have seen people throw it at their kids. It became part of the minhag of the family to do that sort of thing. So they throw it down and see how far it can get. Okay, but it's like playing horseshoes. Yeah. Okay, and then does Rika have a bizoy to fei? He says that throwing it is a tremendous denigration to the bread. Aval sha'ar ochlin, but when it comes to other foods, imamis al disrika. So that is different. Yeah, other foods, if throwing it makes it disgusting, that's when it's usher could go, and he says te'enim shabishlu. If I have dates that are totally ripe, the mamis al disrika. So that's going to become disgusting when I throw it. Shemit ma'ich bizrikatu, because I have to throw it hard, I guess, so it becomes soft or crushed when I'm throwing it. Aval kagon rimon ve'egos, but when it comes to pomegranates or nuts, called davar kasha, or anything that's hard, the lo mamis bizrikato share. So that's not becoming soft when I throw it, or disgusting when I throw it. It's permissible. So if I'm at the kitchen, so this becomes again an interesting thing. I'm at the refrigerator, and my kid is in the kitchen and on the other side of the counter, and I'm saying, so I look and I say, hey, you want some fruit? Please. Okay. What would you like? Would you like an apple? Yes. Throw the apple at him. Would you like an orange? Yes. Throw the orange. Comes to a grape or a strawberry. Would you like a strawberry? Yes. You don't throw the strawberry. This can be disgusting. So what you do is you hand it to them at that point.
Okay, so the question, that's kind of what I was thinking. So, I mean, when you're sitting at a table at a more or less formal meal,
yes,
it seems like it's not polite to toss anything. You should pass it around the table. When you're standing like this, that's what I was kind of thinking of.
Correct. If I'm sitting at a table where it's a king's fear, or if I'm something like that, so it's not a matter, that's just politeness. We're looking at politeness. But when it comes to what's a desecration or a denigration, what's a denigration to food, which is a different matter. So that's what we're looking at here. We're looking at denigration of food as compared to how I should act in a public arena. Mm-hmm. And that's why if I go to a Shabbos table, I'm going to be dressed more formally than I would if I'm at my regular table. It's covered for the table, covered for the honor for the table, honor for the Shabbat, honor for my guests around me. That's why when this is also an interesting thing. I learned to eat fried chicken with a fork and a knife because I went to people's homes. I never, when we were being brought up, my even Emily Post, that was what we were told. Even Emily Post said you can eat fried chicken with your hands. Emily Post, you know who she is? Nope. She is a woman who decided what the manners are of the world. Vanderbilt.
She had a newspaper column, right?
Right, but those I think also wonderful. Vanderbilt was another one who decided what M.B. Vanderbilt was another one who they would always quote for proper manners. Yeah. But I asked, am I allowed to eat this stuff with my hands? And my parents would say, even Amy Vanderbilt would say yes, something like that. And so that was proper manners. But when you go to people's homes, I didn't feel comfortable, especially when I saw they weren't doing it. So I learned how to eat fried chicken with a knife and a fork instead of using my hands. Okay. Then another thing is you have a bowl of soup. How do you finish the bowl of soup? Do you pick it up and put it and drink like that, or do you take a spoon? Okay, right. And so the proper way is to tilt it up and to go like this, and to spoon one by one, and torch yourself till you get it all in, instead of picking it up. Now, when you're home, maybe you guys are just too polite for your own. I don't know what you do when you're home, but normally, at least when I'm home, I'll use me as the normal thing. When I'm home, I pick it up and put it in my mouth and I drink it down. That's the end of it, okay? Like a cat.
You mean you gotta do finishing the end of the bowl?
Yeah, well, not that I don't pick up the soup, the noodles. When I only have broth left, boom, I do like that. When on the other hand, I'm with people, then I have to tilt it up, I have to eat it, I have to be, torture myself like eating like that. But again, that's just proper manners. That would be to the table. Yeah. That would be to the people around. It's not necessarily to the food. So you're making distinctions, the people versus the food itself. So I can never throw the tomato or the ripe fruit, strawberry that's going to be hurt by that. Yeah. When it comes to an apple or an orange, there's no problem. In that area, if I'm at the president's table, well, I may want to throw a tomato at him. I shouldn't throw it to him. Okay, so that's what it is. Okay, that's number one. So now he also says, the Aleph Yosef, says, when it comes to discussing, he says, Aval im as oseh, the refuah, let's say I'm using this fruit or this food for a refuah, for a healing, so then share, then it is permissible to throw it. I feel b'midi demas, even if it's going to be something that is disgusting. It's mutter. Why? Because it says mutter l'zalef akarka beyayin. It's permissible to drop on the ground wine. V'lasu mimenu mishra gevusha. So there's going to make some sort of mixture. I don't know. I guess you're going to put it on as a healing element. You can also anoint your body with wine, vishemen, and oil. Even if it's not for healing you up, because it's for the need of man. So here's something again where I have to look at what I'm doing it for. Why am I denigrating the food? So and that's why I can use this other type. I don't have to just use water to wash my hands. I can use other things to wash my hands. If assuming there is no water, so then I could use wine or some other things to wash my hand. I wouldn't advise washing hands with honey, but it's that's again up to the individual. But those would be the examples of of how far this is going. So in general, I shouldn't throw the food because I don't want to denigrate it, and I don't want to spoil. When it comes to bread, I can never throw that. Okay. So now let's go on.
What about kick them like soccer?
What?
Kick it like soccer. Punt it.
Okay, I'll let you answer that yourself. Okay, I'm sure you know the answer. Okay, so now let's go on to continue. We have to turn the page, I'm guessing, in this book. Right? Talking about asparagus here. Where is it? I don't see where it says it here. Oh, here it is, on page 51a. Okay? It's the second, it says the Gemara addresses a tangential issue. Okay? You ready for this? We have, now, when you first read the Gemara, I'm going to read it to you and you'll be all happy for it. And then I'll tell you what it really means. It says, Tana Rabbanan, asparagus, yaf elalev. Asparagus are good for the heart. Now, what is asparagus? Oh, you see, you have the English in front of you. Okay. When you first heard asparagus, what did you think of? The nice green things, right? You thought of a vegetable. Well, it's not a vegetable.
Asparagus is a vegetable. Asparagus is the drink.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's
you know the drink?
No, I'm looking at the beverage asparagus.
Right, I understand.
How do you spell it?
Aleph, Samach, Pei, Resh, Gimel, Vav, Samach.
What's he saying?
Asparagus. They're saying
Asparagus.
they're saying asparagus, but when you're reading it, it could be us. So it could be anything. It looks like asparagus. Okay. But it's here it's but it's a drink. It's a drink.
What's the translation of it?
They don't translate it. It's a drink. How do you translate Coke? Coke. You know.
Okay.
You don't translate certain things.
You're saying it's coincidental.
So-
it just happens to sound like
Right. It looks like it. So when I read it, I was saying asparagus is good for the heart. Okay. But then you look into the commentaries. So Rashi tells us that this asparagus is, where is it? I saw Rashi here explaining what it was. It's a drink, but I don't know. Whenever I'm looking for something, I can't find it. Oh, here it is. Kol shayushotin b'chol boker. It's a drink. Apparently, they would drink every morning, and it was for to heal you up.
Sounds like orange juice.
I don't know. So he says, our scroll explains, and he's getting this from Rashbam, Pesachim, he's going all over the place for this. Asparagus was a blend of undiluted wine or beer with cabbage. This beverage had a therapeutic effect and was commonly drunk in the morning on an empty stomach.
Ooh.
Before davening?
Why does it have to be before davening?
I'm asking. Before davening.
Chas v'shalom. You can't eat or drink before you
I'm
daven.
asking.
I'm
I
telling.
thought you could drink before you done it.
Only if you're weak. You really shouldn't eat or drink before davening. It's only unless they had wait a second. Let's say it's Shabbos, or you're going to daven late,
Long davening.
or here we have 8 o'clock minyan, right? So some people aren't getting up at 7:30 to make the 8 o'clock minyan. Some people will still wake up at 5, 6 in the morning. So if I'm going to wake up 5, 6 in the morning, well, that's even before the shul can daven. So you'd have it not yet time to daven. At that point, you could eat. Or if it's like I said, if you're going to be Shabbos morning where it's 10:30, 9:30.
So sunrise right now is
I don't
8
know.
o'clock-ish right now?
Rabbi?
Yeah, probably around there.
So you're talking about if you get up before 7 right now.
If you get up before, you can daven.
Yeah. So no, I'm saying
When's your earliest you could put tefillin on right now?
sunrise today.
No, it's not sunrise. Yeah, again, the earliest for
Oh,
tefillin.
I mean, so we're usually saying 60 minutes, right? So sunrise. Oh, sunrise 7:39 already. So
6:39.
So if you got up at 6:30 right now,
Then you could drink.
Oh, this is already after. So if you got up at 7:40,
Then you couldn't drink.
you had to rush
Okay.
over there. Yeah.
So again?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so what I'm saying is, if the time for davening has not yet come, then you can eat and
it's
drink.
not- it's
Then there's
nighttime,
not a
it's
problem.
nighttime.
That's what I'm saying. If it's nighttime, if it's still nighttime, you can drink and eat because there's no reason not to. Once I have the ability to start the next thing, I shouldn't do it. But, and there's a big but here. If you can't maintain your kavanah, so that's when you can have your cup of coffee or whatever you need, but you shouldn't have with sugar. There's a whole bunch of things that they argue.
Particularly Shabbos here. Let's say particularly in the summer too.
Yeah, but
It's
the
9:30,
whole
it's
point,
a
the whole
long
point
time.
is, the whole point of all of these halachot is I shouldn't take care of my needs before I say hello to God, if you will. Okay, I have my obligations, so that's why I shouldn't do it. But if it's not, I'm going to get to you. If it's not a matter of, sit down. Sit down. Okay. If it's not a matter of me needing to do it because I have to wake up, then it's just a matter of arrogance. I want to eat because I want to eat.
Yeah.
So those people who decide that they have to have a cake and cookies and this and that, it's a little bit of arrogance, don't you think? You're supposed to daven before you do that, okay? So that's why the halacha said you shouldn't do it. But the person who needs it, they need it. You were first, then you were second, yeah.
What about in Baruch Shamar? It's blessing God for everything working inside you. How do you know that you're using the bathroom so things are coming out of you?
Not Baruch Shema, you're talking about Asher Yatzar.
How do you know that things are coming out of you, but how do you know that things can't stay in you if you don't take a drink of water? not testing. You can't. Yeah, you're testing out the systems.
Why are you testing out what you only see Asher Yetzer when you went to the bathroom?
I know, but
So?
when you wake up in the morning, you use the bathroom, but just make sure I can still drink water. I can still just water.
You can trust God.
Oh, okay.
Trust God for that. Okay. You don't have to test God. Okay. Good. Okay. So now, so he continues. He says, the Gemara turns to the subject of asparagus here, because one of the brightest concerns concerning the subject begins 6 things were said concerning asparagus. Okay, fine. Another reason is that when asparagus is made with wine, the wine must be undiluted, as did before. Okay, fine. That's not important. So it's just a drink. So he says it's good for the heart. Okay, right. It's benefits for the heart, and it's also totally naim is good for the eyes. Because she came and certainly is good for the intestines. And one who's accustomed to drinking it regularly, gufo is good for his entire body. But one who gets drunk from it, kasha l'chol gufo, is bad for the whole body. Okay, so you shouldn't drink so much of it that you're going to get drunk. And it's just something that we'll have to take their word for it. I don't know what it is. They say it's a mixture of cabbage and beer or that sort of drink. Good luck to you. I don't know why people drink these things. Okay. Anything here? No. Okay. Let's go on. So now where's this next one? This is Rav Nachman. You still don't have it. You have to wait for 23. I'm Rav Nachman. I just had to find you guys. I'm Rav Nachman. This is, okay, I'm just going to give it to you right now until I can find it. It says, Amar Rav Yochanan, I'm sorry, Amar Rav Yochanan. That's why I wasn't finding it. Amar Rav Yochanan. Kol Mavarich Alakos. Anybody who makes a bracha on a full cup. I hate doing this without you. They skip everything around here. Oh. It gets to a point that I can't figure everything out of it then. Oh, go to 51A4. 51A4, there you go. Okay. It says, Amar Rav Yochanan. So Rav Yochanan said, Kol Mavarech al Kos Male. Whoever recites a bracha on a full cup, Birkat Hamazon, over a full cup of, I'm guessing, wine, Noten lo nachala b'li mitzarim. It is awarded an inheritance without boundaries. Yeah, done. Okay, Shenema, as it says, Umale birkat Hashem yam v'darom Rasha. When filled for Hashem's blessings, west and south, shall you inherit. Rabbi Yossi Barcha and Ina Omer Zocha v'nochel shnei ulamot. He inherits 2 worlds, Ha'olam hazeh v'olam haba. This world and the world to come. And so here we go. He explains this as follows. The Torah, he says, the Torah does not mention a specific land as inheritance, but rather west and south, which are boundless. In the merit of using a full cup for the blessing, this is talking about when you're benching, right? So some people bench over a cup. Let me just finish. Maybe I'll answer your question. Some people will say Birkat Hamazon over a full glass of wine each time they bench. So if a glass of wine. So if you're going to have a glass of wine, then you should fill up totally. And so he says you're going to be blessed with this, with inheritance. And since, that's what he's saying, since it's west and south, which are boundless, right? So in the merit of using a full cup of wine, one is rewarded with a full inheritance. And then he says this. It's derived from the verse, "Umale berkat Hashem yad v'darom Rasha." The letters Yud and Hey in the words Yerasha are superfluous, and as the same meaning shall you inherit could have been conveyed with just a shorter word Reish. the addition of these two letters are an allusion to this world, which was created with the letter Hey, and the world to come, which was created with the word Yud, and thus that we're going to be rewarded in both this world and the next word because of the word Yerusha. What was your question?
Why is it only south and west are endless? Why not east and north?
I believe that. I think I saw that answer too, actually. Wait a second. It's a matter of finding everything again. That was in the Maharsha, I believe.
Could it be in Israel, so the west is the Mediterranean and then the Atlantic Ocean, and they didn't really know anything besides that, so that could be endless?
What do you mean
So the west of Israel is the Mediterranean Sea.
Well, that's one thing to see, right?
And to the south is the continent of Africa.
So but you're asking the other directions. So let's look. He says Maharsha answers your question. Okay, so it says, I knew I saw it. So in this trait, when it says anybody who makes the blesses, makes a Birkat Hamazon with a full cup of wine, with this trait, he's going to give him a full inheritance, without borders, mighty lush, and so they bring the verse, what we just read, Darom, Dayinu ad hayam, until the sea, or the west, She'en misham od yeshuv olam. After that, there's nobody else is living past it. That's what they said. Past the sea, there's nobody out there. You can't live out in the sea. Okay. V'chein ad darom, and also until the south, shegam misham ein od yeshuv. There also wasn't any inhabited place there, machmat chum gadol, because of the great heat that was going on, the desert. So there's nobody living there.
South of the Sahara.
Say it again?
South of the Sahara.
No, south of Eretz Yisrael.
Oh.
You're going to, they didn't know the United States.
No, I'm thinking south of meaning the Sahara. South, but the desert in Israel.
Okay, but they're talking about the Israel. So as it says, Tochlem v'amar d'zocha v'nochel, it says, b'zocha, and you'll inherit it. Then Tosfot fine. So then, what we said about the Yud Hey. Yeah. Yeah, so.
That's south of Israel.
Yeah, but they're saying because of the great heat, so go fast up to that. So because of the great heat, I mean it's desert. Have you been to Israel?
No, but I know about
Go to Israel. Go to Israel today. You'll see that there's desert. You go to the Negev. You go to Masada. You look across to Jordan. What we call Jordan today is desert. It's all just desert. It's continual desert. Nobody lives there, and the truth is nobody lives there. I mean, where they live in these. They'll make cities, but there's nothing around them. It's not like the United States. You leave South Bend, and you travel to New York, to Boston, to Canada, and all the way up, you see trees. Yeah. It's very inhabitable. We have more land than we have people. For anybody who says I remember there was a campaign long before you were born that the world would be overpopulated.
Oh yeah.
It's such a joke. We can't fill up. And I remember I used to fly from Boston to Canada. Once in a while you would fly in, and all you're doing is passing over all of this land, open land, forest land. And I was thinking, wait a second, how can you say this, that we don't have enough land to populate? There's so much wooded land, it's not even funny. There's no way this planet is going to be overpopulated. And that's why they even said that if you take our entire population today, 7 billion people.
7.4.
Good. I'll give you 8 billion, Tzaddik, okay? 8 billion people, just for you. I'll round it up. Okay, you could put them into the state of Texas, every single one of us, and the rest of the world would be uninhabited, and we would fit. So all the people said overpopulations, they didn't look. But if I would look into Israel, I could imagine that, where I'm going out into the Negev, I'm going south, and it's hot. It's hot and cold. It's like the Sahara. It's desert land. It's not a place of a yeshuv. Doesn't mean nobody can live there. It's not the yeshuv. Nobody is living there. It's not developed. So that's why they're picking on the west, which is the ocean, Mediterranean, or the south, which is the Negev. The other places are uninhabitable for something else. I forget what they weren't good for, why they didn't look there, but that's what it was. I forget what the north was. North was dark, I think, or something like that.
Cold.
No, dark is north. North is dark because of Bavel, because of Babylonia, Iran.
Just go around them.
It's you don't understand. It's more a
In a shadow.
metaphysical explanation than dark. In other words, that's where all the bad stuff comes from. The north. That's where all the bad stuff will come from, and it's actually true to this day. That's where all the bad stuff comes from. Okay, but yeah,
Back then wasn't the land Persia?
Bavel. Bavel was Persia. Babylon is Persia. So the same thing. Yeah, there you go. All the different names that they have thrown to it.
Or the east?
So yeah,
What's the east?
the east is where we face. Nothing's wrong. That's where the sun rises. That would be good already.
I know, so why didn't they say anything?
Okay, you have a good child. They're looking at they're looking at the verse. They're looking at the verse, and they're really making the drasha on the word Yerusha. Because you don't need to say, you could have said Reish. Shall you inherit? You could have said Reish. You didn't need Yerusha. So that's where they're really getting it from. Okay? And they're just explaining that. Okay. Okay. Actually, we'll have to stop here. So I apologize for the banging in the beginning of this, for all the people watching, but construction, give you money. Okay, send it in. Midwest Torah Center.